All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I don't know if it limits the number of people now to 100, but if we end up having more than 100, then I know that it's not. But either way, I'm going to try to do this the best I can. You know, obviously under the circumstances, this seems to work pretty well. But if you guys have any questions as we get going, there's two ways that you can ask questions and stuff. One is to just sort of raise your hand, which is on your name. You can just click and raise your hand that way, or you can go down and chat. You can go ahead and hit the chat button, and then if you have a question, you can type a message there, and I'll get to those when I can. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go through part of this, and then I'll pause for a little bit and see if I can't answer any of the questions you guys may have. Okay. So let's get going on this. First of all, I have a sort of a PowerPoint that I'm going to run, and that's going to kind of guide us in what we're doing here. So if there's any issues, go ahead and unmute it and let me know that something you can't see or whatever. Okay. But I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint here, and then we'll go through that. Okay. So you should be able to see a PowerPoint at this time, and what I'll do is make it like this. Okay, so if you have any questions during that, again, just put it in the chat and let me know if you guys have any questions. We'll get going. Okay, I guess it does limit to 100. Okay, so here's what we'll do, coaches. Why don't we get you guys to go ahead and, I know you're going to be bummed out about this, but why don't you guys just go ahead and bail on this so that we can get at least, 15 or 20 more people joining, okay? So coaches, why don't you guys bail on this, and if there's anything that I need you guys for, I'll text you and we'll get back on, okay? All right, I got a couple of messages so they weren't able to join in. So I'll tell them to try again. Sorry, guys. It's obviously a first time for a meeting like this. All right. There we go. Oh, one more. Sorry. All right. I think we should be good now. All right. So the first slide, what I'll talk about is sort of the current status of where we're at with with practice and summer camps and things like that. I've been in constant communication with my athletic director and principal, trying to figure out what District 158 is going to allow. Some districts have right now, they just flat out canceled summer camps. They're not able to have any kind of summer camp, team camp, or anything like that. So we have yet to do that. And, talking with my athletic director, the deal was if they were going to cancel all summer school classes, then we would, eventually then cancel team camps, any kind of, summer camps for players and things like that. But they haven't canceled those. In fact, they're kind of said that they were going to run them, and they're going to run them. Can't hear. Am I too quiet? Is there, what do you think? Jared, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure. If you need me to speak louder, I'll sure do that, okay? Obviously this is something that has a lot of issues, and we'll do the best we can, okay? All right, so, but Pritzker, this was the official notice from the IHSA. They said that the summer practices were suspended until obviously things are safe for everybody, for everybody to practice. Okay, so what their official statement said, the board also determined that summer contact days are suspended for this year. unless the state government and medical leaders indicate such gatherings are safe. So ultimately, the IHSA was going to say that we couldn't practice until Pritzker or the health people said it was safe. We knew that was going to happen. They're not going to just say, go out and practice, go ahead and do what you were going to do anyway, and fear the fact that, we're going to transmit the COVID and all that. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep adjusting our calendar, and we're just going to keep seeing, what we can do right now. We don't start until, second week in June. So hopefully, by then we'll have a lot more understanding of sort of what what our summer is going to look like. Okay. So the state will update the coaches, and they're going to tell us, the IHSA will tell us exactly how many days. Right now we're allowed 24 contact days in the summer. And that's before the August 10th, beginning of fall practices. Okay. So, August 10th is sort of that day where we have to automatically start our practices. I don't know if you guys see if I can bring that slide up. Let me just bring the calendar up for 1 second and kind of share it with you where sort of what we are doing, matters. Okay, let me go to that real quick here. Let me stop this for a second and go to that calendar here and show you guys what that is supposed to look like. Okay, let's share that. So this is, you guys should be able to see May here. And, obviously here we are May 3rd, okay, with our call out meeting. Typically, we'd be doing our open field workouts in the mornings at the high school, doing that sort of stuff. And then towards the end of May is when we would hand out gear, okay? Well, we're not going to hand out gear until we're not even allowed to be at the school. I know there's days where they're having you guys there to drop off materials, pick up things and whatever. I know they're arranging for that. But we're not going to be handing out gear until I know, we're going to be having practice. Let's say we know we're going to have practice, June 20th. Okay. Then I'll back that up and say, okay, well, we're going to be able to hand out equipment mid-June. Okay. So, it all depends upon when we're allowed to practice. And then I'm going to back that up a little bit and say, okay, now we're going to hand out gear. Okay. And so really, and then the freshmen, we're going to hand out gear that day, the Saturday, May 23rd. But obviously that's not happening. But we haven't really started practices yet. Okay. Our first day of practice would have been June 8th. Okay. Now, right now, there's nothing that has flat out said, that's not going to happen. Nobody has said. Now, the likelihood of us having to change this is pretty high. Okay. We're more than likely going to have to push these days to different days and so forth. Okay. So we'll see. And I got to keep you guys updated on those things. Okay. So Sacred Heart Griffin 7-on-7 hasn't been canceled. The Wheaton Warrenville 7-on-7s haven't been canceled yet. None of those things have been canceled yet. Okay. But we're looking at, possibly pushing things around. Okay. Then we get into July, and this is when a lot of people are talking about, being open. There's a lot of speculation about, among the coaches, about when things are going to open up and be ready for practice. A lot of people are saying July, and if that's the case in July, now we have to decide how many days is the IHSA going to give us to practice if July is the only month. If they give us 24 days, like our normal 24, 25 days that they give us, very difficult to fit those days in just July. So we're not going to, practice 24 days in July. Okay. I'd imagine they give us, if July is the only month, maybe they give us 10 practices. Who knows? Okay. And we'll arrange those to make it fit the best we can. Okay. Now this is August, and in August 10th is sort of the magic day. All right. This is the day that we work from our very first game against McHenry. We work backwards to the number of days that the IHSA says we have to practice. Okay. This is what we did every single year prior to this year. We work McHenry. The Friday before, that's the red and black scrimmage. We work the days, and as you can tell, it's like helmets only for 2 days, helmets and shoulder pads only for 3 days, and then we have full pads for a certain number of days before our first game. Okay. Those are usually set in stone. Okay. So August 10th is sort of that, if we're playing football in 2020, okay, that is typically the day that it has to start for us no matter what. Okay. Regardless of all summer camps being, canceled or anything, this may be the very first day of practice. Now, some of you people that are older, like me, can remember back to a time, I've been coaching for 25 years, and back to a time when there was no summer practice. This is exactly when we started. And it has obviously changed quite a bit since then, but that was the first day of practice. So that's kind of unique, nowadays. I mean, if you look at what Wisconsin does right now, and it has been doing for a long time, they have 5 summer practices, and that's it, okay? And then they start up that August 10th, just like everybody else, okay? So there are some states that don't do 25 days like we do. So we may have to limit the summer camp, okay? Let's go back to our PowerPoint there. Are there any questions briefly about that? Anything that I can, any questions I can answer on that? Okay. All right. So let's go back to the PowerPoint and talk about. Let's work our way through that a little bit. Okay. All right, we should be on, y'all should see the PowerPoint here. So anyway, we'll continue to modify, prepare, and we'll be ready to go. Coaches and I have been contacting each other, been in constant communication, talking about how we're going to modify things and how things might look. So as soon as we know, obviously, we'll get you that information, okay? All right, so let's move forward and talk about the season. Let's talk about, some positivity here, and let's talk about the high likelihood of us actually having a season and being able to practice in the summertime. It's not so talk so pessimistically about the summer, but we have quite a few. We have 21 coaches in the program. Okay, and what that does is it gives a lot of individual coaching. Okay, and as long as I can have that many coaches, and as long as we can afford, and the school district allows me to hire those many coaches, we're going to have as many coaching your kids as we can have, okay? We have 4 former varsity head coaches, okay, working with the program, so they all know sort of the systems and how they work and things like that. So it's a lot to be said about what type of coaches we have as well. This year, we've kind of introduced a new position, and it's gone, we've been trying to incorporate this the last few years more and more. But we do a lot of stretching and yoga and that type of thing on Saturdays after Friday night games with our black team players. We know that there's a huge benefit to doing this. We know that there are college and professional teams that do this, and it's sort of working its way into the high schools. And we've been doing it for a while, but I wanted to make a more concerted effort towards it. So we brought Nicole Bradley on. And we're calling it the Director of Athletic Performance, but basically her role is going to be after practices, during the summer, during the season, working with our kids on flexibility, stretching, and that sort of thing. And so she's really, really good at that, and that's something that we're incorporating again this year, okay? Community support. Guys, this is something that's huge, obviously, to me, but parents, I need to get a lot more parent involvement. It makes the season more fun. It makes parents sort of buy in a lot more, and it kind of reduces the roles of our team moms. As great as they are, they're just overwhelmed sometimes with things they got to do. Have more parents involved helps us out. Okay, and we'll talk about ways to be involved later. Okay. Administration, obviously they've been really, really supportive of me and our program, and and so we continue to rely on them for things. Our youth program, guys, we've been since I took over. This is my 5th year. Took over 4 years ago. I've been trying to get involved with the youth program more and more every year, trying to bring them in, trying to get them, on our sidelines, have our kids coaching their kids, have just more of an involvement of those players. And I think that link between the youth league and us just builds for a stronger program, both for us and for them. So it's important to me, and we do a lot of things with them. Okay. The athletic boosters, guys, we have a school, Huntley High School Athletic Booster Club, and they've been really good to us. They make a lot of their money on concessions and tickets to games, things like that, basketball games, football games, things like that. And they give back to us quite a bit. And, if you're not a member of the Athletic Boosters, I would encourage it. And then we also have our own football booster club, and that's the Gridiron Club. And a little bit later, I'm going to invite, some of those Gridiron Club people to talk to you guys and kind of introduce what they do. Okay. So a little bit further on, here we go. This is the staff. This is what we're doing here. We have, this is the offensive side of the ball. Coach Slattery is going to be back with us again this year. He took a year hiatus, and now he's going to be with our quarterbacks again. And we also hired a really good defensive line coach. Coach Solomon decided to take a different teaching position at a different school, actually a conference school, so we'll be able to see him during the season, and it's best for him and his family. And so we filled his position with a terrific hire. And, I can't put his name up yet because we need to, gotta go through all that board approval and all that sort of thing. But he'll be a teacher at Huntley and our defensive line coach. So really looking forward to having him on board. All right. So what we did in the off season, guys, January and February was fantastic. We had tons of players come and, work out with us. We had a lot more kids in wrestling and basketball than we've had in the past. So, we have less people working out with us in January and February, but that's a good thing because those kids are in, wrestling or in basketball or some other sport. Now, if they weren't in a winter sport and they weren't with us, okay, then they're really not doing what they needed to do to get prepared again for the season, okay? Or even if it was for a spring sport, if they're a track athlete or a baseball player, as unfortunate as their season was, to prepare for that, they could have been doing things in the wintertime with us as well, okay? In fact, we even have the head track coach, Coach Maxiden, helping us out, running the after school workouts. So for, to just kind of emphasize the importance of, being able to get those workouts in, okay? Coach Maxiden helped us out, and, he obviously may have collected a few track athletes as a result of that too. But Raider Olympics we had, we didn't get to finish them. We had our last week we didn't get to do, which was kind of a bummer. But those are always fun. We had a ton of participation, a lot of good things. It also helped me look at what kids' grades look like and things to kind of get them to be on top of these kids even during our off season. Okay. Supplemental workouts. Coach Ranke provided workouts. When this all went down and everybody's staying at home, Coach Ranke sent out a list of workouts to do that you can do, without any weights or things like that, just do your own body weight and things. And what I'll do is once this is all over, I'll go and I'll, get that out to you guys once again. So if you're looking for things to do, you need to be doing something, okay? You can't spend all this time off and not, treat your body well, exercise, build your strength as much as you possibly can, okay? And it's easy to make excuses, it's easy to do that. But if we want to be a championship team, if we want to win games and we want to, move further in the playoffs, we got to find a way to get it done, okay? So if you're interested in those things, Coach Ranke will get them to you. If you got your own weight bench or any, stuff in your basement or something like that, fantastic. But you cannot slip. We got to keep up with what we're doing. Okay. Are there any questions so far that I can sort of answer? I want to make sure that I'm leaving time for that. Is there anything that you guys have that I can help you with? Nothing? You want to get back to it? All right. All right. We'll get through it. Let's share this again. Not convenient, but it's as good as we can do right now. All right. So college recruiting, guys, there's a lot of people that are interested in playing college football. I think that if you play football for us, whether you're on the black team or the red team or something like that, you can find a school to play football at in college. Back in November, December, January, I asked for people to fill out a form that were interested. I sent out a remind. I sent out a lot of information to say, if you're interested in playing college football, return this form filled out to me. Okay. And, I got quite a few people, underclassmen. I got, 2021 kids, 2022, 2023 kids, all the way down. And it's fine. I think the longer you're on top of these things, the better it is. Okay. I will send out another one here shortly, within the next couple of days. And if you weren't on my list, then we need to get on it as soon as possible. Okay. You're going to meet with me. I'm going to sit down with you, and I'm going to talk to you about what your sort of what your goals are, what level, what your expectations are, that sort of thing. Okay. And it's important that I sit down with you and I talk to each of the players that want to play, because you can't just say, I want to play in college and then not take the steps that it takes in order to get there. Okay. And so we need to be clear on what it's going to take and make sure you're ready to go. Okay. There's definite roles for me and the athlete, but the number one thing the athlete has to do is keep their grades up. Okay. There is not a college in the country that will look at you without a 2.5. If you're looking at a Division I, Division II school, there are too many kids that are really, really good football players for them to look at anybody with less than a 2.5. Okay. You get over a 3.0 and you're going to open up quite a few doors for yourself. Okay. Even if you're going down to the Division III level, where they give, some academic grants, academic scholarships, those types of things they can give to kids that get, good grades. So your grades couldn't be more important. And it's a battle for me. I'm always fighting that battle for you guys. And I'm going to be on you all the time. If you want to play college football and you don't have the grades for it, I'm going to let you know. Okay. And that's something we got to definitely make sure we're on the same page. Okay. Your attitude needs to be the best of the team. It needs to be a good leader. You don't have to be a captain, but you need to be leader by example. You need to show up, and that sort of thing. And also the update thing I wrote right there is because we need to continue to update the stats that I have on there. If your weight isn't what I have for weight, if your bench press is different, we need to make sure those things are updated. Okay. Go to camps when they exist. I mean, right now there's no camps. You can't do it. They're talking about opening up the Canlin Center 7-on-7 again. I mean, we were going to do that. A bunch of players were going to get together and run that 7-on-7. They're talking about opening that up in May sometime. I don't know. But you got to have, ask me. You can look around. People will invite you to things. Okay. But once I send out all your information, places will invite you to things. Okay. And if you want to go, go. If you can't, if you're interested in that school, a lot of times a bunch of schools will meet at that single school and, instead of hosting their own, to watch you participate. And then there's specialization camps, like, maybe a punter camp. If you're a punter and you really want to, punt in college, they have camps just for that, or D-line camps or something like that, just to see all the D linemen together, all the punter together. Okay. Call or text me if you're still interested. Okay. I'm going to send out the remind. You all should have my number and that sort of thing. If you're interested and you're not sure if you're on my list or not, I texted or emailed you guys just a couple of days ago, but if you didn't get that, that means you're not on my list. So if you're interested, call or text me. Okay. If we have summer camp, okay, here's the deal. We will prorate it. It might be postponed, all that sort of thing. We just don't know right now. Okay. I haven't opened it up on 8-18 right now. You can't even sign up for summer camps. Okay. But it will be adjusted based on how many days we're allowed to practice, and what camps we're going to go to, that sort of thing. Okay. But everything's included. We used to have a summer camp fee and then a team mom fee. Okay. For team moms to pay for some things, like snacks for something or whatever. And the issue was a lot of people weren't paying that second little bit, to the team moms. So the team moms ended up paying out of their own pockets, and it wasn't really I didn't even know they were doing it. So what I ended up doing is just combining their fee with the summer camp fee and the one fee. And guys, this hasn't changed in 9 years that I've coached at Huntley. Okay. So a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, the prices have changed. Guys, the prices have not changed in 9 years. Okay. Seniors are more expensive because we have senior night and things like that we buy for all the seniors and their parents and things. So it's a little bit more expensive. Juniors and sophomores is $285. But guys, that is if we have summer camp. Okay. So we got to hang on and wait, see if summer camp is a thing. And if it is, great. If it's not, then there'll still have to be a fee because we still have some things we got to take care of during the year, like senior night and things like that. Okay. It does pay for some equipment, some refurbishing of equipment, things like that. The Western Illinois team camp is in July, mid-July. Every junior and senior goes to that with some select sophomores, and that costs $175 each player, okay? And that doesn't count transportation, snacks, water, all that kind of stuff there and whatever. It does pay for their food there and their housing and all that stuff, but, you know, there's other hidden costs and things like that that we pay. Doesn't count. It also pays for 7-on-7s if we have those, lineman challenges, and then the coaches get the nickels that are left over from that. Obviously, we sign up on 8 to 18 when that happens, which I'll definitely let you guys know when that sort of thing's going to come down. Okay. This is just how you do it on 8 to 18. There's click the athletics page. There's a link to 8 to 18. You should have seen this many times in the past. Okay. Communication, guys, is huge. An athlete will individually text athletes. We also have reminds groups for, position groups potentially for remind. Okay. We have the team remind. We can email through Huddle, and then we can also have these Zoom meetings. Okay. But it all comes from the athlete remind. We will let them know through that, hey, we're going to have a Zoom meeting at this date. This is the login. Okay. So it all kind of goes through that remind. So it's very important that everybody's signed up on a remind. Okay. This is my cell phone number so far, 5 years now as head coach. It hasn't been abused. Well, maybe once, but other than that, hasn't been abused. My email is just the district email. There is a parent remind. Every one of you guys hopefully have signed up for that. If you haven't, I'm going to show it to you here in a second. Hopefully you guys can get signed up for that. I am deleting, if you're still on the 2019 one, okay, I'm going to send one final remind through that today, okay, and then I'm deleting that account, okay, so 2019 will be over, and I'll not be sending out anything through the 2019 remind after that, okay? Then obviously follow us on Twitter, @HuntleyFB. All right, this is for the players. So if you guys have a cell phone or something, or you want a screenshot or something, this is how the players sign up for Remind, okay? I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to find a way to either screenshot this, take a picture of it, but every single player we have that's a sophomore, junior, or senior coming up in this 2020 football season should be on this Remind, okay? In the past, I've declined giving the kids equipment if they weren't signed up for this, okay? So you won't be able to get equipment, and obviously you're not getting important information if you're not signed up, okay? The next one is the parent one, and every single parent, we would hope that at least one parent from each family is also signed up to get those important information stuff for just parents, okay? So this is the sign up the remind for that. So if you have a phone or something, just take a quick picture of that, whatever you got to do. All right, fundraising, guys. This again, assuming we are playing football, which right now everything's pointing towards we are. Okay, we do our fundraising in August. Okay, it's like the second week that we're back playing football in August. Okay, I think I got a class code for the parent remind. Let's see, let's go back to that. Let's see, the parent remind, it's if you don't have a smartphone, you can text it to this, but I would imagine you should be doing this one out here, okay? Just go to the link, just go RMD at this, okay? And just log in this way. It should be able to join Raiders 2020. I don't know if there's a particular class code. Maybe if you did it this way. We'll check if you have questions after that. We can answer those when we're done. Okay, we'll see if we can get that fixed. All right. Let's get back to this. All right, we do those discount cards, guys. And I'll tell you what. At a time where people need, people are using, the money isn't as available as it's been for a lot of families, and the discount cards actually, paying $20 to get discounts at all the local places, I think kind of helps us out. But it does get us all the things that we have been accustomed to. Okay, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But Mike Effinger is terrific. As long as I've been at Huntley, he's been doing it from that. He flies out from Arizona to help us. He comes out 3-4 times a year to talk to the different restaurants and things like that around there, guys. And he's the best there is. I've had numerous people try to become our fundraising representative for, it doesn't matter, for whatever they want to sell. You want to sell popcorn, you want to sell what they want. They want to have Huntley football. We do Effinger, and he's been great, guys. It's fantastic. And guys, it pays for everything. All that we don't pay for: helmets, shoulder pads, footballs. That's it. Everything else, okay, we pay for. Practice stuff, jerseys, every uniform that the kids have. They get 3 different uniforms. Every uniform they get is paid through this fundraising. Okay, nobody has as nice a stuff as we have, and it's because the kids are willing to fundraise. Okay. And then you can talk about the intangibles, right? I mean, they're working hard for something. The team concept, that kind of stuff, pride in Huntley football. They're going to go out wearing their jerseys, selling these things. And then, it also puts the kids out in the community. Now, we may have to sell with masks on. I don't know what that's going to look like in August, guys. Okay, so we're going to find that out, and we'll see what it looks like then. Okay. So obviously a lot of things that we just aren't sure of yet. Spiritway, that's one thing I am sure of, though. Right now, my wife and Dina Napoli, I'm not sure if you guys know her, the Youth League works with her as well. It is open right now, and I am going to send you guys a link when we're done here through Remind, okay, to look at our Spiritware, okay? And we'll have one of them now. Well, actually, a couple of reasons why we're going through Dina. Okay, she owns a company, CDM, and what they do is what she's great at. Well, first of all, her son played for me. I've known the family for a long time, and so we have a good relationship. She is going to deliver them directly to you. We've had a lot of trouble in the past with the people that we've worked with, and we had a lot of trouble with a company called BSN. And so I went with a different company called Fancloth. And Fancloth did great for a few years, and then all of a sudden they started struggling. They were doing really, really bad. And last fall, it was probably their worst. And what ended up happening is they merged with BSN. And so I ended up dropping them too. They're terrible. So we ended up, so now Dina, whose main printing area is drivable from here, is going to be delivering things and everything. So we work with her when we do our playoff gear because it's a quick turnaround. She gets all that stuff for us. She does all of our T-shirts and things already. So there's a variety of different things you can buy or whatever. This is pretty cool stuff. There's 2 selling periods. We're having one now, and then there'll be one in August. Okay. And that's, right before the season starts. Okay. We're doing online only. So all your purchasing, all your buying and everything is online. And I will share that link with you when the time comes. Okay. Right when we're done here. All right. Summer calendar. I gave you the first version in November. I love getting the emails from parents, halfway through the summer saying, well, we didn't really know when we should, have our vacation and whatever. And now we really know, obviously, but, I always give the first version in November because a lot of things repeat. The days don't change and things are relatively the same. Obviously, we're in a unique situation, okay? It's always available. I'll email you another copy. Call me, email me, whatever you need, and I will answer questions about summer calendars, okay? Now, right now, we have a couple of moratoriums we know for sure, okay? Times where we're not going to be with your kids. And those are the dates that we have. Okay. So, and, we don't, obviously, like I said, I really don't know a whole lot. Okay. But, I'm going to communicate that to you. And I'll get you a new version when it's available. We have 2 7-on-7 competitions scheduled, one at Sacred Heart Griffin, one at Wheaton Warrenville South. Sacred Heart Griffin's a Saturday, and we drive all the way there. Okay, it's the black team only. It's an invite. Sacred Heart Griffin's a great, perennially good team, and a lot of really good teams are at the 7-on-7. Wheaton Warrenville South, same thing. There are some really, really good teams that compete there, and that's why we do it. Okay, otherwise I'm not going to go to a 7-on-7 where we don't see good competition. Okay, the sophomores have one specifically just for them, and that's at Wheaton North the same week as the Wheaton Warrenville South one in June. Okay, if they postpone it or cancel it, obviously we'll let you know. Gridiron Club. Well, why do we have it? Well, here's the reason why we have it. And I'm just going to give you a brief thing here, and then Tom Wiley hopefully will kind of spearhead the rest of the discussion. But it kind of developed, when I first got here about 9 years ago, where the athletic booster club really wasn't playing nice with the football coach, head football coach at that time. And so we needed some things, and they weren't, at that time, as far as I know, weren't as willing to help us out. And so what ended up happening is we started our own sort of booster club, and we were able to afford a lot of those things because of it. They did a lot of fundraising and things, and now we get a lot of things that we need sort of from the school boosters, the Huntley High School athletic boosters. So we have a much better relationship with them now. So the Gridiron Club has kind of evolved into more of a social group. It's a social group that gets together a lot, and we'd like to kind of encourage more and more parents getting together. And Tom asked me, hey, who's running it? You are. Now, he said he wanted to know who's kind of in charge of it, and and he wants to make it something special. And usually people like that do a great job with it. So I'm excited to have Tom on board. But what I'm going to do is kind of let Tom say a few words. He asked if he could. Where you at, Tom? There you are. If you guys can see Tom or whatever, go. Let's see if I can make.
Oh, there we go.
There you are.
I'm off mute now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tom.
All right. Had to sit outside today. It's too nice of a day to be inside. Hey, want to just say a few things. Thanks, Coach Zim, for giving me a chance to talk for a couple minutes. We have decided this year to kind of take the Gridiron Club in a new direction. We've got a lot of parents that are involved, as Coach Zim put on the list. Great parents. A good group of people who really want to try and make this program into something truly special. We had every intention outside of coronavirus today to do like a meet and greet with the coaches and everything, to get together tonight and have a couple drinks and just relax and just be out. And we were also planning some fundraising events, because the Gridiron itself helps support things for the program. Mainly the biggest one that it helps support is the Western Camp. We do want to provide and help offset that cost, because as Coach Sim said, he has not raised the prices in 9 years since this is all started. And we want to make sure that stays the same. So some of it was we were trying to make sure everybody got involved, everybody took time to be together. There's a few things that I am working on right now. We've talked with Parkside, and after the games, probably one of the biggest thing is that not a lot of people can get food after the game. So Parkside has agreed to keep the kitchen open after games. So we'll be able to go there and have a couple drinks and celebrate hopefully a good win, and the fact that we will, I'm not saying if, we're going to have football this year. And I know it's going to happen, but I'm always available. I'll give Coach Zim my email if you guys got any questions. People want to get involved. We have a few things that we're putting on hold right now until we know what the governor is going to allow us to do in the state. So as soon as we know that stuff, then we're going to get stuff out to everybody. As far as it goes, we also created a group me text so that we'll be able to communicate with people a lot easier. If you haven't gotten that, let Coach Zim know, and we could get that back out to everybody. That's about all I got, Coach.
All right, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Everybody clap it up. All right, let's wrap up with this PowerPoint. Got a couple more slides to go, and then we'll answer any questions you guys have. All right. So we should be able to see the Gridiron Club slide right now. All right. So anyway, volunteers, guys, we need help. Like I said from the very beginning, we have some fantastic ladies helping us out. Jen Gell, Nicole Deniston, Dana Wiley, and Erin Pangalo. All four of those ladies are fantastic, but guys, there's only four of them. And for them to run all the things that need to be run, they're going to need your help, okay? At equipment handout, I typically give each player a form, and they take it home, and they ask you guys, hey, can you help for this date? Can you help for that date? And then the parents, the team moms will contact you guys to get you involved. But guys, if you're willing to get involved, let me know, and I will definitely pass your name on to one of those four moms, and we'll get them. We'll get you involved, guys. There's always room for people to help. Okay. I've kind of noticed that there's it goes in waves. There's a team where you got a ton of really involved parents that really want to help out, and then you go through a year or two where it's just a few parents. And so I'd like to kind of keep it up, keep that high note and get the parents involved and keep them involved. And a lot of successful programs. You look around and it isn't one mom running everything. It's a bunch of people working together. Okay. So if you got time, even if it's a little, help out. Okay. A couple things we need to address just quickly. I want to get through this. Social media, guys, we got to keep the kids off of social media. All right. If they text something as vanilla as it may be to them, people take it wrong and it becomes a big issue. Okay. You've got to stay off all of the Instagram, all the stuff. Now, we do use Twitter, and I want every kid that is a prospective college athlete to clean up their Twitter, because it's the first thing college coaches look at is their Twitter account. And if you're hanging out with some thugs, or you're not, they're doing stupid things in their profile pictures, things like that, it's not going to look good for you, and they will definitely look the other way. Okay, look to find some other people. Alcohol and drugs, guys, we test. You have to sign a consent form. If you drink or get caught doing drugs or anything like that, guys, it's going to be bad for you. Okay, there's no tolerance for that. Vaping, same thing, guys. I know how widespread it is, and I would hope that the football kids and the football program can be kind of the model for that going away. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous habit. It's a joke, and it needs to stop. But it is right now the number one thing that kids are getting suspended from playing sports for right now is vaping. Okay, so parents, let's keep a better eye on it. Let's see what we can do to get it to stop. Okay, academic dishonesty, obviously that's frowned upon. Some teachers like to think whatever it is. The kid's doing, sometimes, I don't know, they count it cheating. Maybe it isn't cheating, but let's just make sure we're doing it right. We talked about grades already, guys. It can't be more important than anything else. Summer sport obligations, guys. I've heard a bunch of talk about some summer baseball leagues forming up and some things once everything kind of opens up, maybe in different states. or something like that. Maybe you're traveling for a lacrosse thing in Florida because they're open more up in Florida than they are here. I don't know. But just understand that I need you here for football practice. Okay, when we decided when we could finally open up for football practice, we need you here. If somebody beats you out and you're not here to practice football because you were gone for something else, and that's the nature of it. You know, they just performed when you weren't there. When it comes to that August 10th day, there is no leniency in that. That is a required number of practices before you can play football. Okay, so August 10th is a definite hardline, day that you have to be there. Okay, I do require my athletes to do volunteer work. Okay, we'll see how that looks. But everybody has to do it, or they don't get their decals on their helmets. Okay, it's something that we give back to the community. There's a lot of our kids, and they've done so much for us, and we're going to give back to them. Okay. Fox Valley, we're still playing around with the different levels. They initially said that they kind of are going to restructure who plays on what night. Right now we have the Frost Off playing before the varsity game on Friday. Now they're saying that it might change. So we are going to have a Zoom meeting with the head coaches in the Fox Valley to determine that. But right now we're saying that it stays the same as it did last year. Okay. And then they also, IHSA ruled on a funny thing. They said initially that you could not play, no matter if it's a single play, on consecutive days. So let's say on a Friday night, you're the holder for an extra point. That's all you do maybe because you're a JV player. Well, we used to have JV games on Saturdays, but now they stopped playing JV games on Saturdays because you couldn't play a single down on Friday night if you were going to play on Saturday. So that's why we had Monday games last year. The IHSA came back and said, okay, now we're going to say it has to be 4 quarters. So you can play a total of 4 quarters on 2 consecutive days if you want. So, there's a new ruling, but we don't know right now because we have yet to meet about what day each game will be on. Okay, right now we're just saying it's the same as last year. Okay, and this is just the schedule as it was last year. Okay, so this is the new ones. The Friday night was varsity Frostoff A, Saturday Frostoff B, and then Monday was JV and varsity reserve. Okay, varsity reserve is what a lot of conferences that we play, they call it JV. We call it varsity reserve because our JV is just sophomores and we play those Mondays. So that's what it's going to look like again next year unless things change between now and soon. Okay. Final checklist. This is it. All right. First thing, there's going to be an information sheet that I got to get every single athlete to fill out. Okay. This information sheet is huge, important. Okay. It tells me what size clothes to order for them. Okay. So if they're a large t-shirt, make sure you choose large. If they've grown a little bit and they're extra large, sweats, make sure you choose the correct size because when we buy the stuff for them, it's going to go off of what they chose on this sheet. So please help them fill it out. Okay. They don't know your emails. They don't know what size pants they even wear. Okay. So if we can help them fill it out, great. You don't have to, if you want to screenshot that, great, but I'm going to send that back to you through Remind. Okay. So if you're on Remind, don't worry about it. I will get you that information sheet to fill out with your son. Okay. Make sure you sign up for the new Remind. Like I said, I'm canceling the 2019 one after a final text today through Remind. I'm going to cancel that one, 2019, and then we're going to be only on 2020. Okay. Eventually, we're going to need to register on 8-18 for summer camp, things like that. But right now, it's not even open. So don't do that. I'll communicate through Remind. Physicals, guys, if you can get in to see a doctor, which I don't know how that's even possible right now, but everybody is going to need a physical. So we'll see how that goes and what that process is going to involve. Okay, but most people get their physicals done in the summertime. Every kid's probably up for renewal. Let's when things start opening up, maybe you can get to your doctor and get those physicals. Okay, like I said earlier, guys, we need you to be involved. We need the parents to be involved. Okay. Talk to those team moms. If you don't remember their names, text me, email me, whatever. I will get you in communication with them. And also Gridiron Club guys, Tom is super excited about this, as is the rest of the Gridiron group guys. And once the season kicks off, they're going to play a huge role in what we do. Okay. So, it's exciting, and they keep it exciting. And I love to have all the parents together, celebrating our team and celebrating your players. So, join the Gridiron Club and talk to Tom Wiley about that. Okay. Now I'm opening up for questions that you guys may have. Let's get to that. Are there questions you guys have? You may have to unmute yourself if you have a question, or you can put it down in the chat if that's something you want to use instead. Nobody has questions? Wow, we should do this every year.
All right, Coach, I have one question for you, which is just that when I know the team moms are having a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out the kids, like when we were doing the signs for homecoming and stuff, for some reason they didn't have the most updated list. And luckily I was there and was able to say, hey, my son doesn't have one, and so they're able to make him his sign and make him his last name and all that. So how do they get those names, and why wouldn't that be updated?
That's a great question. What they usually take it from is from the 8 to 18 site. The 8 to 18 site is the one where our most recent roster comes from. Okay, and so if for whatever reason your son wasn't on that roster on 8 to 18, then that's obviously they're not going to know that unless it's one of the team mom's kids. They wouldn't necessarily know that unless I let them know. So I'm going to have to do a much better job of that, because what I can do is, cross-check every single kid to make sure that the list that I give the team moms, that every kid is on it, or work through a different list instead of the 8 to 18 list. Give the list that I have of each of the kids and all their information over to the team moms instead of pulling it off 8 to 18. So that wasn't unfortunate. There was like, I think two or three different athletes who, for whatever reason, were left off the 8 to 18 list last year. I'm not 100% sure why, but I will do a better job of making sure that no one's left off this year. Okay.
Okay, I apologize. There's something else that I could do to make sure. I mean, he's been in football all years.
Oh, I know, absolutely, and that's why I'm really at a loss for where. I have no idea, and one thing that you can definitely check, and it's up to if you wanted to, go to our roster on 8 to 18, go to the football roster and just make sure that he's on it. And if he's not on it, then he knows something's awry, something didn't get moved over correctly or whatever. Okay. But typically that's not an issue, because most of the lists that I provide the parents don't come directly from 8 to 18. They come from my list. And my list is leave kids off. I have the list of all the players. So I'm sorry that happened, but definitely won't happen again.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Hey, Coach, for specific positions, I guess on offense, are there like position-specific drills that the kids could run prior to training camp?
That's a great question. Here's what we're going to do. Every position coach, every at least varsity position coach, is going to hold. Some of them have already been part of these meetings, okay? But they've.
I just type in the chat. Yeah, I guess.
I think I'm on the wrong. All right. Anyway, it should be me. I don't know why I'm the wrong view here. There we go. There. What we're going to do is I'll have the position coaches will have meetings, Zoom meetings with their players. And when they meet with those players, they'll talk to them about different drills and different things that they can do. Okay. I just want to make sure that we have, all the kids on remind and everything, so that when they set up those meetings, those kids know, to make sure that they meet at those particular times. So each individual coach will give them, oh, that's a good point. I'll have them do that. Okay. We'll give them drills that they can do. Okay. During their individual meetings that they'll have with the kids. And, I would expect within the, probably next week, with today's Sunday. So throughout next week, those kids will be contacted by their position coach and invited to a meeting. Okay. So you can expect them to be in a meeting next week, at least once next week, with their position coach. And then during that time, they can definitely talk to their, position coach about those drills. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you guys have?
I have one. Coach.
Yes.
How does I sent you in the chat, how does the lineman challenge work? Is it O-line and D-line, or is it both?
Oh, I see that. Okay. It's usually everybody who's not participating in the 7-on-7s is eligible for it. So whether they're D-line or O-line, it doesn't matter. And so there's two different ones. There's one for only sophomores, and then there's ones for anybody else. Okay. The one that's right now that's scheduled for that Thursday, you would be invited to it. We're only allowed to bring, 10 or 12 kids. And so it would be the 10 or 12 kids that are most going to make an impact, to help us win that. Okay. So if they have a certain skill, maybe they can flip a tire faster than anybody else, because there's certain things that we'll do at that challenge, And so we'll invite 10 or 12 kids. And then, obviously more kids are welcome to come if they want, but we're limited to the number that can be 10. Okay. So we'll try to get the best players that we can to put us in a good position. Okay. Cappy sent something through the group chat, said that her FYI, my doctor's office caring family in Crystal Lake surprised me and called saying they're still taking healthy people for physicals and they're not busy right now. If you're comfortable with it, check with your doctor and see if they're open for physicals before everything opens. It gets crazy. So good idea to just check with your doctor. Maybe they're free enough to help you out. Okay, get that physical done. Thank you, Cappy. All right. Are there any other questions I can answer, anything like that? All right. So what you're going to get from me right now is I'm going to text you, if you're in the 2019 group still, that's going to be done, and we're canceling that. Okay. And once we cancel that, I'm going to obviously post, how you should be hooked up to the new Remind. Okay. And then I'm also going to send you through the new Remind. I'll send you, the form that I need every athlete to fill out. Okay. So if you guys can help your athlete fill that out, that would be fantastic. And then also I'm going to ask, and then also you guys can go to the Spirit Shop if you guys want to go to that. Okay. So expect those things to come to you shortly. Okay. Are there any other things I can help you with? I appreciate your time. It's a beautiful day. If you're out walking the dog, go walk the dog, Christian. Okay. Get the dog walked. Get a little exercise in you. Okay. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to contact me anytime. All right, guys. And, stay healthy, stay safe. Okay. Take care. And again, text me, email me, any questions. Thanks, guys.